Alright guys, this is Doctor McFarland. It is Tuesday, and that means we're going to do a Tac-O-Bout gear live stream. So we're answering all your questions about whatever gear questions you have. And yesterday, my friends over at Quilter Labs released the direct amplifier, or direct amp. So as you can see here on the screen, we have two XLR, so it's a stereo output. We do have headphones out, a stereo effects return, but a mono send, a guitar input. We do have a boost section, which is really great because you actually have an output dedicated to the boost area. So you can actually crank the boost up pretty loud and then just turn it down with the output. And I will go into that a little bit here later. We do have the clean gain, and we have the limiter, which you can turn on and off right here. And then a bass, middle, treble, and a dedicated reverb, and a master, which is just the overall volume of the unit, or your headphone level if you had the headphones plugged in. And it does have a wireless input, which I saw a few people were slightly confused. It's really just meant for Bluetooth, and like a dummy, I don't have my phone on me right this second, but it does connect to Bluetooth very easily. And yeah, I don't have my phone, so it's fine. I'll have a whole video series on this unit and how to do the ins and outs. But tonight we're just gonna have fun and play some tones. We're gonna hook up the ToneMaster Pro to the direct amp, so we can utilize the 4-cable method and show you guys how you might want to use this with other units as well. I also have this Line 6 HX Effects, which is effects only, but this thing with the direct amp on a small board, it would supply a lot of needs for a lot of people. This little unit right here is not amp modeling at all. It's all analog circuitry and the magic of Pat Quilter underneath the hood there. So we're going to dive into some tones, look at some setup examples on how you might want to use this in your studio, in your live setup. Maybe you just want to keep it, set that over there for now. Maybe you just want to keep it in your gig bag. So if your main amp goes down, you still have a solution to plug your pedal board into the direct amp. Now you have a stereo option to go to the front of house, or you can just keep it mono or do all kinds of fun things. So far I've been on the Fender. There's 3 different amp types here. There's the Fender, there's the AC-15, and there's the JMP. We also have 3 different speaker types. which is the Jensen, the Vintage 30, and the CL80. And then we can have the option of going closed, closed back, open back, or speaker off, or SIM off. So if you wanted to run this into another virtual cab, or whatever combination of things that you'd want to do. So my motto for the last few years, what I've been trying to teach people is there's only 3 different elements you need for a guitar rig, other than your guitar, obviously. You need a preamp, you need a power amp, and you need a speaker. Okay, you have to have those 3 things in your guitar rig. Otherwise, it's just, it's going to sound weird. So what this can provide for you is definitely a preamp, because it doesn't have a power amp built in, nor does it have a speaker output that you can actually power a cab like other Quilter products have. Obviously, they're meant to be an amplifier solution, but not a direct amp solution like the direct amp is. So, hello, Dwight. Welcome to the live stream tonight. I hope you're doing well. I do have a bag of cookies that I can snack on a little bit later if I want to. So the direct amp is providing your preamp sound that you would need for your, at the end of your pedal board, or maybe if you had it on a pedal board, it could be after your drives, but before your modulation, delay, and reverb. So that way you're essentially using it as a 4-cable method kind of deal. Well, even if you didn't have wet effects in the effects loop of the direct amp, you could essentially, if you just kept it in the middle of your signal chain, have guitar into tuner, tuner into wall pedal, maybe. Maybe after the wall, you go into some dirt pedals, maybe an EQ pedal, something like that. And then you would go into the direct amp input. And then from there, you could just take the output of your direct amp and go through some pedals and then go to your front of house. But there's really not a dedicated 1/4-inch output on this. So I'm kind of just talking through this myself. You could use the effects send if you wanted to go out to your wet effects. Since this does not really have a power amp built in, the effects send would be fine for that, because you'd just be sending the direct amp signal out to your wet effects, and then from there go to the front of house. But then you wouldn't be able to utilize the XLR outs. So maybe you would want to utilize the 4-cable method in that instance. So yeah, let's just go with that. It's probably what you want to do. Now, these headphones, the drivers in them are not very high, so I'll probably switch them out because I'm hearing a little weirdness in my ears. Aaron Short is in the house. Dwight Bailey says, how many watts is the amp? The amp does not have a wattage because it is not an amp that connects to a speaker cab. It's basically just a passive... Yes, essentially it's a passive style amplifier. So it provides a preamp sound, and then your front of house speaker, which is going to provide the power amp, and this is going to provide a virtual cab kind of option on there. Okay. One thing I will get out of the way, this is a sponsored video. So Quilter did reach out to me a few months ago and said, hey, we got a product that you probably want to check out and give us your thoughts on. And so they sent it out, and I've been messing with it for a while, and it's really, really good. If you see back there, if I can point, this little speaker back there, that's the Fender FR12. I also have some headrush speakers in here, tons of FR solutions. And this direct amp through a Fender FR12 sounds really stinking good. You got that Fendery clean tones that everybody loves. You got the AC-15, so you got that British Voxy kind of sound. Then you got the JMP from Marshall, that's just a roaring lion just waiting to be devoured, or to devour, if you will. So yeah, this thing in front of any FR solution will provide the power amp that you need, and it will provide the actual physical speaker that you need that will reproduce whatever amp sim you have turned on over here. Okay, so with all that out of the way, I'm actually going to switch out my headphones here, and then I'll be right back, and we can start dialing some tones on this thing. So I will be right back. All right, we are back. I have the trusty old Audio Technica MX50s, wherever these are. Pretty good little headphones. The other ones are closed back, and they sound good for, like just mixing and whatever else. But if I do some serious like tracking, I need some closed back headphones for sure. Okay. And of course, I got to plug in to the amp here. All right. So a little bit of history with me and Quilter, just to get that out of the way as well. So once again, if you're new to the channel, I have some reverb on my voice or something. Turn that down. We don't need to hear no stinking reverb. All right. So I've owned probably more at this point, but the last time I did a really overview video of all the amps I've owned is probably about 35 at the time, and that was even a few years ago. So I have owned a lot of Quilter amps over the years. I had the Mach 2, see what it was. What was the Mach 2 Pro, something like that. I had the there's so many I can't even I can't remember the names of all of them. It's crazy. Yeah, the 101 mini reverb, the 202, I've had like 5 or 6 Quilter amps. And what they're really known for is very lightweight, very loud, very consistent power. So whether you're playing in the heat or in the cold, you got low wattage, high wattage, voltages coming out of your outlets, and like, whether it's like a really old building or whatever, like the voltage of the Quilter amp is always very consistent. So it's receiving consistent power, and therefore it's also cranking out very consistent tones night after night. Now, as far as power amps go, you can use the effects return of a Quilter amp through a cab, and it sounds amazing. It sounds really good, very full, very lots of transient attack, so you can really feel what you're playing. I do have an Aviator Cub over here that I'll do a video series with as well. I bought that sometime last year. It's just a great lightweight option with 3 different inputs and a variable line output. So you can control the volume going to front of house and the cab on stage, which is great. So my history with Quilter is very deep, very long. Been using them for years. And, so when Quilter reaches out and says, hey, would you like to do a video or a video series, or would you like to try out a new product? I'm like, yeah, because I'm already a fan. So, but I will tell you a few things that I would like to see on a direct amp, just me personally. But what they've done so far is great, and I'm not knocking anything that they've accomplished with this product. But with the it's hard to engineer something, but it's really easy to re-engineer things. It's like you see a product, it's like, well, I would have done it differently, or I could have done that, or maybe moved that around. But it's hard to please everybody, and especially in this last few years with the mindset I've had of really only using digital modeling and amp sims and plug-in sims and whatever else. Amp sim plugins. I'm just used to having, tons of tweakability and whatever else, but there is something to be said about just turning on an amp and playing. So whether you're in a living room environment, just wanting to practice silently with your guitar, just wanting to plug into something, or like I said, you're out on the road and you need a good backup for your main setup, or you can even easily use this as your main setup. And they're cheap enough, I think they're $3.99, that you could get one or two of them and have a great little rig, and then a backup, or have one for you and your other guitar player, or whatever you want to do. So let's go ahead and dive into some of the features here. And right away, I was really blown away with the boost section here. So let's dial that in first. So here's my clean tone I have. This is a Kiesel CT6. Yeah, so actually let's stick with the main channel right now. So let's just turn down the treble. Okay. So it's dark, but it's not too dark. We're not like totally rolling off the high end. And then here's the highest it can go. Okay, so it's a little bright, but it's not brittle at all, which is great. I am on the neck pickup. Let me go to the bridge. Okay, so lots of sweepable frequencies there we can dial in. Here's the mid-range all the way down. And then all the way up. It definitely has that throaty, upper mid kind of honk going on. That's great for lead tones. Then we got the bass all the way down. And all the way up. Okay, so whether you have a thin guitar, bright guitar, you can dial in the EQ however you like to match the tone in your head. Okay. We do have a nice reverb here. It is all the way off. Okay, and here it is all the way up. Yeah, that's a very nice reverb. It's not too washy. I think it's just right in the middle. It sounds really good. All right. So far we've been on the Jensen cab with the Fender amp type, and let's actually go down and we'll turn the gain up about 12 o'clock. Okay. Okay, there's that versus 9 o'clock. And now I'll turn the master back up. So you can already see and hear that the range of clean, the edge of breakup kind of tones are all there. You can dial in your amp however you like. And it's just really easy to use. So Let's turn the master back down. Let's go to about 2 o'clock on the gain dial. All right, here we go. We're going to crank it up even more. Here's about 3. Okay, and here's the gain all the way up. Let's definitely lose some bass here. Maybe bring up the treble and the mids. All right, so plenty of gain on tap for our clean channel. And then from there, we actually have a boost section. So this thing is just magical, guys. We have a flat boost, we have a bright boost, and we have a fat boost. So I put it on flat for now, and then we can just turn on to engage it. Okay, so we're kind of A-B between our clean. Let's make it even cleaner. Get a nice clean tone here. Alright, now I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's pretty close to the sound of the clean turned all the way up. Okay. Versus turn the clean back down and then cranking on the boost. Okay, notice that when I turn the clean gain up, it doesn't affect anything. The sound doesn't change. So to me, when I first unboxed this thing and realized what the boost was doing, I was like, wow, it's actually just a second channel of an amplifier, essentially. So they call it the boost channel, but it's really just a second channel of an amp because you're not boosting into the clean channel. It's just a totally separate channel, but it is sharing the EQ and sharing the limiter and sharing the reverb and whatever else. So it is a true, to me, it's a true 2-channel direct amp. So whether you like it on the clean channel all the time or edge of breakup, you can always kick it over to the boost channel and get just a really awesome soaring, searing, whatever adjectives you want to call it, drive tone. So check this out. We're going to crank it up even more. Back to the clean. Okay, kick on the boost. Oh. Yeah, once I found those tones, I probably sat there and played for at least 2 hours, just basking in all the glory of everything. It's like, wow, this is a great, not just direct amp solution, it's just a great amp option. As Aaron Short always says, it's yet another way to amplify your guitar. But man, what a great way of doing it. It's really, really good. Nurko Dogs, what's up, man? Woof, woof. Yeah. Let's see. I was supposed to be in bed, but Mr. Mixbus is on, so why not? That's right. That's right. I do work for Harrison Audio and do videos for them and do customer support and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for not going to bed just yet. Yes, the amp does require a power amp. So the power amp is coming from your PA. Once you take your XLR outs, the PA system is your power amp at that point. And you are sending it either a closed back option, an open back option, or a sim off option, which is what this sounds like. This is not that great. Right, that's that swarm of bees kind of sound that you don't ever want to hear from a guitar, right? That's why you always need to have a guitar sim turned on or have another device after it that provides a speaker cab emulation of some sort. So yeah. Now with the Fender amp, I never know which way to point. The Fender amp over there, right there. Yes, I pointed at it right there. See the Fender amp right there? That's the Fender FR12, and that is a power amp with a speaker inside that will easily crank this direct amp so loud into your room. It's great. It's really awesome. So, all right, so back to our clean tone. Let's do the middle pickup. Right, just very glassy, very just very clean. Here's the neck. Okay, all same settings. We're now going to switch over to the AC15 and the Vintage 30 sound. So here's back to the bridge. Okay, so already we're going from a cleaner sound to a very throaty, very mid-rangey, AC15, barky kind of sound. So, and then when we kick on our boost, the boost is now going to take on the character of whatever amp we've chosen. So, so if you're not into the country clean with a boost kind of sound, then maybe you're more into a Queen or just classic rock, that mid-rangey chime that Vox amps have. If you're into that sound, then that's the amp that you would probably want to choose. Let's go ahead and experiment a little bit. This is the open back right now. And then the close back. Did you hear the rush of low end come into the sound? That's what happens when you have a closed back speaker, is all that bass can't escape out into the room, and it's being contained in the cab, and you're getting all the resonance and all these things coming from the cab, and it just makes it sound bigger. So to me, that's just a great example of closed back versus open back. Open's going to be, it's not thin sounding, it's just not as big and boomy as what a closed back would be. So now obviously if you like the sound of a closed back cab but you don't want as much bass, then just turn down the EQ a little bit. Okay, here's the middle position. Okay, and then here's the neck. Okay, back to bridge, turn the boost on. So I toggled it on and off so you can really hear that bass drop off when I went to the closed position, or into the open position, and then toggle it back on for the closed back, and all that bass just comes filling in the low end there. So it's a really great setting. Let's go ahead and go to the CL80 on the AC15 amp. So we're changing the speaker type, but keeping the same amp. So all right, so V30s are known for having more a it's not a scooped sound, but it's not as mid-rangey as what a greenback is, or even what a CL80 is. So going from a vintage 30 speaker to a CL80, you're just gonna have more mid-range with the CL80. So let's go back to the vintage 30s. So you can hear what that sounds like. Okay, so more mid-range. You're perceiving the sound as having less high end because you have more mids. When you scoop the mids, you perceive the sound to have more highs and more lows because you're having less mid-range. So that's just how your ears hear things. And I mean, that's what's happening on the graph as well when you look at a frequency graph. Let's see here. I am checking some comments. Necro Dogs, I love gear modeling and endless options, but in the end, I always end up with the Surfy Bear Reverb tank and deluxe reverb with tremolo to taste. Yeah, man. Well, this definitely gets you into deluxe reverb ballpark for sure. Did I mention that I'm a sucker for the 60s instrumental stuff? Ooh. So yeah, you probably like all the surf rock and all that. Let me get a little drink of half water, half whatever I have in here. All right. So hope is becoming clear of how to dial this thing in. I mean, it's really simple. You just kind of flip some switches and turn some knobs, and there's a sound, right? But you can make it as hard or as simple as you want. Okay, let's go to the JMP, which is going to be your Marshall sound. Okay, here's the CL80 speaker type. Surf is his life, folks. Necro Dog, Surf Man. So once again, I'm going from closed to open. Yeah, so I'm going from open to closed, and I'm hearing the difference in bass or in the low end. Yeah, it gives it an extra thump in the low end that you might like. Let's crank up the clean to about 12 o'clock here. Okay, here's the boost on. Okay, let's mess around with the boost types. We got, this is flat. Here is bright. And here is fat. Yep, I like all that. Let's go back to vintage 30 speaker type. Okay, definitely bright sounding. CL30 or CL80. And here's the Jensen with the JMP. Okay, so lots of different combinations here. So however your ear wants to perceive or hear a certain sound, just like I said, flip a few switches, turn some knobs, and all the options are there for you at your disposal. So let's go back to our middle position. Let's go dial in a very clean tone on this JMP. So unless you have some really low output pickups, I think with the J&P you're always going to get a little bit of hair, a little bit of edge of breakup sound going on. Back to the middle position. Alright, let's check the same sound back on the Fender amp. Alright, so we've lowered the volume, so let's raise the master up. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, so maybe you're a jazz guy. You just want a nice direct amp solution to go with your band. I mean, this would be perfect. You know, plug in your semi-hollow body, fully hollow guitar, jazz guitar, whatever you have. You can jazz it up all night. You can literally show up to the gig with your guitar. This would probably fit in your guitar case, like where your headstock rests, possibly. You'd have to check it out, but let me check where this other reverb is coming from. Let's turn that down. Whoops, change keys. I always do that. Alright, so far I'm liking it a lot. Let's check the boost on this channel. Going back to the J&P and the Fat. Hello. So it's funny, when on the bridge position here, what was very clean this sound, well, really it was on the Fender sound, right? It's very, very clean, right? Stay on the Fender for a second. So here's the fat boost on the Fender amp. So if you're like the guy that likes a deluxe reverb or a Princeton or a Fender Twin, but don't want to carry around the weight of those amps and just want to go direct, this would be really, really good. I mean, there's tons of other options for direct amp type things, like the UA stuff. I think TC Electronic has some things now. Nuix has some options. But this is actually really, really good. Yeah, if I was a jazzer or just a straight up country guy and just needed like a small board with this and maybe a few effects, that's what I would do. And just go direct in front of house. Or just take a Fender FR12 or any other FR solution. Or maybe a Bose speaker or a JBL little powered speaker. Just anything powered that you can carry around. It'd be great. It'd be an awesome, awesome solution here. Now, one thing I will talk about. Let's talk about some negatives I've had from Quilters over the years. Once you get to the top range of their gain knob, other than the IB45, the Interblock 45, that thing was, I'm about to curse. That thing was perfect. It was about perfect. About said another word. It was perfect. So, the drive on that thing was just really good. Some of the older Quilter amps I've had once you reach that top level of the gain, they kind of sounded a little fizzy and farty and just wasn't very tight. But that's not what I'm getting at all from this direct amp. This thing, even with the gain very high on the boost. Let me turn the boost knob down. I mean, to me, guys, that sounds just as good as any like high gain amplifier out there. To me, I mean, I don't know about your ears or what you're wanting to hear, but that sounds really good. It has some good low end chunk to it. Yeah, let's turn the reverb down. So that sound right there, that is why when I unboxed this thing for the first time a few weeks ago, whenever it was, I just couldn't stop playing. I literally sat there for like 2 hours and just dialed in different sounds, just kept playing. I was like, wow, everything I tried just sounded great. So I started off this section of the video saying there was a negative. Well, that's really with all the past Quilter amps I've tried. But whatever they're doing now, they've really got over that hump and made it just, I mean, it's really perfect. It sounds so good. Clean, anywhere from high gain crunch, the lead stuff, to whatever you want. So, all right, gain all the way up. Here's with the fat switch on. Maybe we'll scoop it out a little bit. Okay, obviously, you hear that? So when you crank it all the way up, you get a little bit of noise there, but even at 9 o'clock or at 3 o'clock. So that's kind of what I'm saying. These Quilters, when you crank them all the way, they do a little, there's something going on there, but if you just kind of crank it all the way, then back it off a little bit, it's the perfect sweet spot for like that high gain stuff. So. All right, now let's have some fun here. Let's turn this off for a second. Let's unplug my guitar. We're going to set up a little 4-cable method so we can do some effects in the front and effects in the effects loop. So what I'm going to do is use the Toolmaster Pro right here. And we got 4 loops on the back we can utilize. I will do loop number 3 for this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your guitar cable, and we're going to go into the input of your mauler or first pedal in your chain or whatever you're doing. Okay? And then from there, let's see, where's my cable here? Hopefully all these cables are good. They should be good. Yeah, they should be good. All right, so we're going to go into the send of your... So this should be the output of your last pedal before it goes to the amp. Or it can be the send of your mauler. Okay, so from the send, we're going to go into the input of the Quilter amp right here. And then, there's that. Where's the other cable I had? Oh, it's right there. Okay, good. I was searching for all my cables. All right, now from the send of the quilter right here, we're going to do a mono send out to the, let's see, we got send return. Yeah, so we got the return here on the fender. And then one more, kind of out of shot there. That's what I paid for my 65 Deluxe Reverb. $399. Yeah, $399. Portability, yep. Yeah, portability is great. It's definitely really great. All right, so from here, we're going to take the output of our Mahler, like so. We'll go left out into the return left of the quilter. So you can see we have all the cables hooked up there. So we got one more. Let's review one more time here. Let's review one more time. All right, so guitar into Mahler, send from the Mahler into the guitar input of the quilter, send of the quilter into the return of the Mahler, and then the output of your Mahler to the return of the direct amp. Now let's see if I can put all this up here. It'd probably be a little better for me. Let's just see what I got. Let's see what I got. Something like that. Okay. This is not going to be the greatest, I understand. But it's going to be what it's going to be. Okay. Grab my guitar again. Now, if you've seen my channel for any length of time, you probably have seen other 4-cable method videos I've done. But this will be very similar to any other video I've made with the 4-cable method. So, let's see here. We're going to go and make, let's just make a brand new preset here. Okay, let's just choose this one. This will be fine. Okay, we are totally blank. I can't see the screen. All right, so let's move it over here. Move my light out of the way. All right, so we're going to add a block. And first and foremost, we're going to add in the effects loops, number 3. And that is going to... Okay, without that block in here, it's going to sound like this. Check this out. Okay, we have no signal going to the direct amp because the effects loop is not turned on. Now if I turn it on, okay, we definitely want the spillover to be on. Okay, so any Mahler you use, it doesn't know you're using the 4-cable method if you don't put an effects loop block in the signal path. So please, whatever, even if you're using HX Effects or any other Headrush or Line 6 product or a Fractal or Quad Cortex or Kemper, anything else, right? You have to put an effects loop block in the signal path so the unit knows you have cables plugged in to your effects, return and all that fun stuff back here, your inputs and outputs, and returns, all that. Otherwise, the unit's just not going to know. So please tell it what it is. Please tell it what you're doing, okay? All right, so with that said, let's turn off the reverb here, and let's add in our own reverb from the unit. And I really like the cloud verb here. Let's try this one. Check this out. Am I doing something wrong? Oh no. Okay, there's reverb from the direct amp. There's my boost. Oh, I'm a dummy. Okay. There's a effects loop block or effects loop button on the direct amp itself. So what that is doing is this. If I have this on, there we go. There we go. So turn up the master a little bit here. So you probably want to match the output of your unit with the bypassed effects block in there. Okay, now actually let me turn off the effects loop here. Okay, now this is the sound I want you to get. This is what I want you to realize here. If you don't have an effects loop block in your signal path, what is happening is it's like your guitar is not being sent to the guitar input of the amp anymore, nor the effects send, but you're adding your guitar directly into the effects return because the output of your unit back here is going into the return. Now that's actually cool in two ways. What you can do at that point is now you can blend the best of both worlds between the direct amp or the physical amp you're using because you're utilizing the effects return at that point. And then you can turn on amp sims or amp models from the modeling unit itself. So if I went and turned on, let's do another block here, and I went and put in an amp head, and I'm going to do a freaking EVH red, right? Something high gain. Okay, it sounds kind of ranchy, right? Let's put this after that. Should sound a little bit better than that. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's turn that back on. Interesting. Okay, so the head has to be before the effects loop block. So, though it shouldn't be that way, though. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that example right now because I'm doing something wrong, obviously. So just keep it simple. Okay, we'll go turn on our reverb that we want. Now, I know technically that the ToneMaster Pro already has amp sims in it, so you don't really need whatever you're putting in. I could turn the amp sim off, right? And maybe I add in an IR from the amp sim itself. Okay, something like that. So I've turned the amp sim off the direct amp, and now I'm using an IR from the unit, which it went away. Let me plug it back in here. Roll off some of the high end, some of the low end. Okay, now if you want to turn on the cab type on the direct amp, this is what it'll sound like. Okay, to me that doesn't sound good because you're basically stacking one speaker sound over another, and you're just kind of muddying up everything. So either you turn off the amp sim here and you add one on your Mahler, or you don't add one on your Mahler and you just worry about the speaker sim or the cab type on the direct amp itself. So okay. So I will go ahead and remove that, and we'll just turn on the close type on the or the close cab on the cab type. Okay. Just for fun, let's add in a drive pedal here. Let's do a little Nashville overdrive. Okay, this is going to simulate just adding in a normal drive pedal to the front of the direct amp. Okay, I can turn off my effects loop and notice that the drive pedal is still going into the front end of the direct amp via the guitar input and then being sent out to the effects end. Well, actually, no, it's not even going to the effects end. It's just going from guitar, Tonemaster Pro, from the Tonemaster Pro send to the guitar input. And it's not sending the reverb because I only have, because I don't have the effects loop turned on. Now, when I turn that back on, you can hear the reverb again. Okay? So if you like that kind of thing, you can actually utilize the reverb on the unit. And now maybe you just turn on off the effects loop when you want a higher, more washy kind of sound, or just a different reverb sound altogether. Let me add in a delay pedal now. And we'll just go with a, I like the Echo Tank. I can bypass that. Ooh, man, that sounds good. Turn off this drive pedal here. Here's the boost on. Let's go add in a tube screamer. Tube screamer, like so. We'll turn the drive down, level up. Okay, so what we have now is the tube screamer going into the front end of the direct amp with the boost channel engaged. So it's like I have a high gain channel on, and now I'm putting a drive pedal, more specifically a tube screamer, into the front end of that. So let's check some comments here, if we have any. Okay. I have drilled on the Quilter for some time. The portability is tempting, yeah. All right, so I hope this makes sense so far, that you can easily add in analog pedals before the direct amp, put your boosts, your modulations, your delays and reverbs in the effects loop of the direct amp, and now use the XLR outs to go to your front of house. Maybe you want to send it to your audio interface in your studio for direct recording. It's literally a direct amp, so you can directly go from your guitar, from your pedal board, into whatever the next output power amp option that you have. Okay? So we've been going for about an hour now, and sorry, I had these bugs. I had an issue with my trash can downstairs, and the bugs kind of got up here somehow. So anyway, I'm fine. I'll be fine, folks. Okay. So unlike a digital model of an amp, to where you kind of have too many options sometimes. What I like about this is you got 3 amp types, 3 cab types, sorry, 3 speaker types, and then cab type is just going to be closed, open, or sim off. So you really lessen the amount of options you have. And honestly, it's not like you're going to be mid-song going from a Fender type amp to a JMP. I mean, it's just not what you're buying this for. If you want that level of flexibility, then stay in your digital modeling, switch between all the different amps that you want to, especially on the Toemaster Pro, because it already has gapless switching between presets and everything else. So you can easily and quickly go from a Fender sound to a Marshall sound to a Soldano to a Vox to a Rockever 50. All the different amp modeling they have in there. Same goes for Fractal or any other amp modeler that there is on the market. But honestly, if you're like, no, I don't want to mess with all that. I don't want to mess with the menus and all the different stuff. I want to plug in, maybe just put my headphones on and just try that out. Then that's what you would want to do. Now, I haven't tried this yet, but if I plug my headphones into the headphone out, then maybe the XLR output would go away. I'm not sure. I really don't want to reach over there and unplug it. I'll try that out in a different video. But basically what I'm saying is it's great for silent practice. We can just plug in like in your living room, in your jam room, wherever you want to play guitar at. As long as you have a power outlet somewhere that you can plug it in, because it doesn't work off of batteries. At least I don't think it does. No. It doesn't work off of batteries. This thing does not have feet on it. So that means it is meant to be put on a pedal board directly. And then you can kind of put your pedals around it. Or set it side by side next to a Mahler or HX Effects or any other modeler out there. We're going to get some more water here. So yeah, the first time I unboxed this thing, it was just it was so simple. It sounds great. I just played on it for hours and couldn't stop. It was like, wow. The high gain tones were great. The clean tones were great. Edge breakup stuff was awesome. So now we do have the limiter, which I haven't talked about yet. So on many other Quilter amps that they've had over the years, the limiter is a circuit that actually reduces the gain before the preamp sound. So when you turn the limiter on, it's not really acting as a compressor, even though it's doing some compressing. It's actually limiting your guitar signal before the first gain stage. So it can kind of sound compressy a little bit, but I'll show you what it's doing. So here it is with it all the way down. Let's turn to the 12 o'clock. Okay, so a little bit of compression there. Let's turn it all the way up. Okay, you hear it's definitely compressed at this point. Okay, let's turn it back to like 2 o'clock now. Okay, I feel like I have to tune, but I'll do that here in a second. Now, the higher you have this gain, the more prominent this limiter is going to be. Ooh, honestly, that sounds great. Sounds really good. Okay, turn the limiter up to about 3 o'clock. So just very compressed. So you can turn it off. Back on. Okay, let's go about 10 o'clock. Let's turn the master down a little bit. Okay, let's go with a CL80 speaker. Yeah, so the limiter just is adding a little squishy quality to the sound without it being like overly compressed. Unless you just really want to crank up the limiter there, but I like that 12 o'clock range. Then add in the boost. I'm going to go to foot switch assign here, and let's assign on off to the green box. And so I can, let's move this over here. So I can turn that on and off. So here's a tube screamer in front of a boost channel. Green box off. Very cool. Okay, let's turn the effects loop back off now. Well, actually back on. Let's go back. Let's turn on the delay. And then we'll turn on the reverb from here. Yep. Okay. And definitely we'll turn down the mix of this thing. So once again, that is all the boost channel right here on the direct amp. There's no amp sim, no other thing turned on. Just pure Quilter goodness there. So you can, I hope you see that you can easily get the direct amp, a few of your favorite drive pedals, maybe a delay and a reverb. And you can throw together a board very quickly that's going to give you the direct amp solution to your PA, to your audio interface, and but you still got the tactileness of your drive pedals and your reverb and delay pedal and whatever else. So some people just don't like maulers. They just don't like the menu diving and the endless tweaking and whatever else. To me, honestly, going between the clean here and the boost pedal. Let's turn down the clean down a little bit more. I'm still on the Fender type. Maybe turn down the reverb a bit. Turn back on the effects loop. Sounds really good. Let's go to AC15. Let me go check something on my interface routing here. Let me make sure. Yeah, these are pan left and right. So. Let's go to JMP. Okay, lots of different options here. Going to my boost. Wow. All right. So what you're finding? Let's go back to my clean sound, but just turn it up a little bit. So that limiter, it does the most work with the higher gain you have. So on the JMP, you're definitely getting more gain than the Fender. You hear all that squishy compression going on. We probably need to turn the limiter down about 9 o'clock. So at that point, you have to decide, do I like the limiter on with the JMP or the AC-15, or do I only like it with the Fender amp? You know, just kind of have to dial in what you think is better for you. Boy, it's just some high gain goodness right there. Give it more of a clean sound. Then you got the Marshall Plexi, which is that glassy kind of high gain, not high gain, but just like, you know, edge of breakup sound. So. I'm a fan, guys. This is really good. Turn on the limiter just a little bit. Yeah. Turn off the effects loop. Tell you what. Wow. That's the green box on the Tonemaster Pro. Pretty cool. Let's go here. Let's turn the Nashville Overdrive to that switch there. Nashville Overdrive. Okay. Yeah, Yeah, so it's just one of those sounds that if you're on the neck or middle position of a humbucker guitar, or especially if you're on a single coil guitar, which has lower output pickups anyway, you can definitely go from a clean sound to an overdriven sound just by changing the pickup selection. So here's the bridge pickup again. Very hairy, very edge of breakup. Boy. All right, so power on this thing. We do have an auxiliary input on here, by the way. So if you had, if you had to run a cable from a computer out to the aux in, you could do that. All kinds of different options. A record player, if you had a record player you wanted to plug in for some reason, you could do that. You would have to control the volume from the external device though, because it didn't have the aux in didn't have a volume knob on it. But this is 9-volt DC, 250 milliamps. So what your basically any power brick, any one spot from Visual Sound or True Tone, any power supply would be able to power this thing with ease, especially if you're trying to power other pedals on your pedal board. It does come with its own wall wart power supply, which is perfectly fine. And yeah, it just does the trick. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. We'll be staying on for a little bit longer. We'll go for about an hour and a half. So if you have any direct amp questions, feel free to ask those, or any other gear that you're interested in. Please feel free to ask away. I'm looking at these bag of cookies and I'm like, man, that sounds really good right now. But I'll have some more water. I'm kind of baffled. Usually when I bypass the effects loop, I'm able to have an amp in the chain that can still go to the Quilter amp here. Let me experiment with this a little bit. So I'm going to go here. Let's go to amp head. Let's do a Princeton reverb. I'm going into the effects return. I just wonder why it's not allowing me to. It's just kind of strange. So it's got to be a Toolmaster Pro thing, because I'm usually pretty good with mixing and matching with this kind of technique, but something's not liking it. And I do not know why. Turn this back on. Yeah, I'm just going to take it out. Yeah. It's weird. I can do that on other devices, but for some reason on the Toolmaster Pro, it's not working how I think it should be working. So anyway, I'll go out to my boost sound. once again, all that drive is from the direct amp and the tube screamer I have turned on. So there's the Nashville overdrive. I'll turn the gain down on this. Turn the level up. Yeah. Cool. Back to AC 15. Vintage 30 speaker. Boost on this one. Alright, I gotta do it. I gotta tune this thing. Just a little off. Not bad. Okay. Let's add in one more block here, and let's add the dynamics. Maybe. Auto swell volume. Time. It's going to be pretty slow. Sensitivity. The taper is going to be slow. Also like the delay. The auto swell delay is really cool. That one to a switch, so I can do that. Do that one. Let's get rid of that one here. Wow, I hit a wrong chord. Louis Gra, what's up, man? What time is it there in Dominican Republic? What time? Yeah. So it's pretty much been on fat boost this whole time. I like the fat boost. Let's go back to flat. Yeah, guys. Yeah, buddy. I'm going to, let me bring this down here. Who's been watching the Olympics? Anybody? I really like track and field. I like, I'm going to switch out my, let me do this. I'm going to turn on YouTube TV over here. Because I can. No, go back. See what we got going on. I feel like there should be a basketball game on tonight or something. Or earlier today. Gotta watch me some basketball, man. Men's basketball, Brazil versus the U.S. Yeah, I think it just started, so I'll be watching that. Start from the beginning. Cool. Yes. All right, cool. Great. Going to watch me some basketball tonight, boys. I do have a new bass I showed off last week. I've been doing a few sessions so far this week. I have even more. I got one more session tomorrow. I have 2 sessions over the weekend doing some recording for work using our new Harrison console. And I will definitely be using the direct amp to record probably some bass and all kinds of other stuff. So if you want to see more videos on the Quilter direct amp, then be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell, because I will be showing how to utilize this with bass guitar, with acoustic guitar, obviously electric setups, all the things I did tonight, just in shorter form videos. So definitely check that out. Check the channel out for those kind of videos. And I really, let's go over the things that I would want to see, what I would have added to this. Because I really see it as a all-in-one solution. But for me, if I would have gone away with the effects loop on and off, because I just want it on all the time. I don't want to control it from here. So what I would have added is maybe like, I don't know where you would fit this at, but put a tremolo knob somewhere on there so I can control like tremolo time and maybe kick in and out some tremolo. That would have been really cool. But obviously you can just add in your own tremolo pedal onto your board and just do that. But if I'm playing by myself and I just want to use the direct amp for some light jamming or just some practicing, whatever, we already have the reverb, so it would have been nice to have a tremolo on there. And I can live without the effects loop button, being able to turn that on and off. So so just add in another tremolo knob on there. You might have to have 2 knobs so you can control the time and then the depth, or so you can control the overall volume with the tremolo. But honestly, anything else about the direct amp that I would change is not a whole lot. I love the boost sound. It's really, really good. The cleans are obviously amazing, as you can hear. And it's just easy to dial in, easy to get your sounds. Throw them in your gig bag, in your backpack. Make sure you have a pair of headphones for some practicing backstage. Wherever you want to practice or play, this thing will do the trick. Obviously, as long as you have some kind of power supply. I know there's battery powered options out there. Now 250 milliamps is not that much, but it will drain a battery powered brick. Um, it might last an hour or two, but if all you need is an hour or two of battery powered option, then that's fine. Especially if you're out busking or doing something like that. So, 6 people. If you have any questions, put them in now because I will be watching some basketball here very soon. I'm just going to relax the rest of the night, watch some basketball, probably record some bass parts, and plan my videos for the rest of the month. So be on the lookout for more Quilter stuff, more Headrush stuff, Toemaster Pro, and got some Kemper things coming down the pike, which you will like. I sold off all the fractal things, so I don't have any fractal stuff to go make videos with anymore. Unless Fractal wants to send me a unit, which they're not going to because I'm just nobody. But who knows? I might reach out to them and see like, hey, can you send me a FM3 or something I can do videos with. But I got too many guitars and not enough money to pay for them, so it's just a personal problem I'm having. Dominican Republic, that's right. All right, guys, I am going to hop off here. Thanks for watching. And if you are interested in the Quilter Direct Amp, then check out quilter.com or actually quilterlabs.com. Let me check. I know Sweetwater will probably have them. Amazon will have them. Show this in display too. I turned off my. I changed my TV, so now I can't see my thing here. Quilter Labs on Sweetwater. Yeah, so it's on Sweetwater right now for $3.99. Let's go to Zounds.com, which is my affiliate partner. I'm officially paired with Zounds.com. So if you have any online shopping you need to do, if you don't have a certain allegiance to Sweetwater or any other like American Music Supply or whatever else, Zounds is super fast shipping. They don't have any credit checks, and on orders $3.49 and above. Wait, hold on. 12. Okay. You qualify for a 12-month payment plan with no credit checks on orders $3.49. So for 12 months, over $3.49, you can get it for 12 months. Okay, I see what that is. But no matter what, I'm trying to get this bug off of here. No credit checks, super fast shipping. Sometimes the next day. I think they're out of Chicago. So really cool guys over there, and they're treating me right. So, yeah. So let's look up Quilter. I know they have other Quilter options. They have the inner bass, but they don't have any other things. Let's see. They have a super block. So I have the Aviator Cub. I never had the Overdrive 202. Never had the Aviator Mark III, which is a really cool amp. Yeah, I'm not seeing the direct amp on Zounds yet. So if you really have to get one today, then I would look at either Amazon or Sweetwater. And if you are going to buy one, then be sure to check out my affiliate links down below. So it's just a free way for you to support me in ways that you are going to shop anyway. So, all right, guys, these bugs are about to attack me, and I'm going to watch some basketball. So you guys have a great night and rest of your week. And I'll probably have a video out by Friday. If not, I might put one out tomorrow. I have a little topic I want to talk about with the Tonemaster Pro. That thing is kind of cool. So that might come out tomorrow or Thursday. But definitely I'll have a video out on Friday, then maybe one over the weekend. So just be looking out for some videos the rest of this week. And we will see you guys in the next video. Keep rocking.